Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all? Okay, so I know we just left the main station and I got my entire life. Did you get yours? Okay. All right, so the energy is about to be flowing from up here, and I think there is going to be an abundance of overflow. So I need a little bit more energy. I know you still got some like runny mascara, probably sniffling just a little bit. I had to get myself together. I was like, okay, Lydia, it's time. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Oh my goodness. My name is Lydia T. Blanco. I am a journalist, a media consultant, and the host of the Get My Life Tour podcast, and I am so excited to be here and share this stage with these incredible women. If you are ready to get ahead without going insane, this session is for you. Now, if you're probably thinking I'm on the verge, it's probably because you need a nap, right? And you'll likely need to take notes as well. So let's do this, okay? Because if you've ever vowed to never go back to being sick and tired, this session is for you. We're gonna talk about dealing with stress, burnout, exhaustion, and the rules of getting ahead, you know, grind culture, and how to dispel a lot of that and shy away and unlearn some of the best practices we thought we needed to be successful. So, without further ado, Dr. Tammy Lewis Wilborn, okay, mental health and wellness expert and author of Playing a New Game, a Black Woman's Guide to Being Well and Thriving in the Workplace, is here looking so sharp in this white. I mean, come on, dazzling. Talk about looking like light and being light. We see you. Dr. Wilborn is a former practicing psychologist, a mentor to many, and she has made it her mission to help women thrive from the inside out. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you can give it up for her, don't be shy. You heard the 3 times, right? I'm gonna do it 4th time. The Madupe, come on, R. Congleton, head of diversity, equity, and inclusion for Amazon stores. She has been recognized and is known for developing strategic visions that transform workplace environments. She is equipped with an impressive blend of knowledge and experience, believe it or not, with more than 20 years. It don't look like it, okay? None of this up here looks like what it is. But she is known for transforming culture, change management, operations, sales, marketing, and so much more. The Madupe. Give it up. And last but not certainly least, Latoya Antonio, consultant at Spencer Stuart. She is a consultant who is thriving with more than a decade of experience, which is like weird to say because I look at you and I'm like, wow, how did you do that? Right? She's helping organizations solve the most complex challenges. And while doing it, she's traveling the world. I mean, I don't know how many stamps you have in your passport, right? I don't know what book you're on right now, but you are doing it with grace and you're shape-shifting. So thank you for being here. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I love that you all are thriving in corporate as businesswomen and entrepreneurs. You do so much more than what's in your bio. But I will start with you, Latoya. I would love for you to tell me, who are you in your own words?
Who am I in my own words? This is always difficult to kind of narrow down into like a short, like 2 seconds, 3 or 1 minute kind of statement. But I think there are major kind of events or just the way how I was raised that really shaped who I am. And so one of those is that I'm a Christian. So it's foundational to who I am. My faith in God, my faith in Christ shapes how I see the world, the things that I put my energy into, and the things that I believe in, how I kind of shape the world around me. The second is I'm a humanitarian. I get passion by pouring my energy into other people. When I see other people thrive, when I see other people excel, that really gives me energy. And the third is I'm Jamaican. I was born in Jamaica. It's my cultural heritage. There we go, Jamaican people in the room. And so I was raised by strong Jamaican parents who instilled in me the principles of excellence and working hard and striving to always be at the top and realizing that the world that I create, I speak into existence, and that there are no boundaries that will stop me from creating what I want and who I want to be.
Amen. I love that. Moderator?
Yes, so first let me say thank you. I'm so honored to be here with each of you beautiful sisters and to have this platform to speak with each of you. I am, a very proud Black woman. I show up every day, not dimming my light, as Lisa talked about, but walking very boldly in the fact that I can say, yes, I am a Black woman in every room. And I think many of us know sometimes we often use the phrase of woman of color because we don't want to alienate anyone. But I say before each of you today, I am a very proud, again, Black woman, graduate of an HBCU. Okay, and I'm also, I'm a sister, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a girlfriend, right? I am a girl's girl. And I'm also just a humble human being that is unbelievably fabulous every single day.
I know that's right.
Okay, a little bit of hair toss.
Every day.
Come on, Dr. Wilborn, tell us who you are.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for investing in yourself to be here. So give yourselves a round of applause, rather. And good morning. Well, let me try that again, because somebody paid too much money for y'all to be here to be that low.
Yes.
And it might have been you. Let's try it this way. I want you to put your hand on your chest, one hand on your chest, the other on your core. Let's see if this works. Every single person. It's thriving for me in 2023. You say.
It's thriving for me in 2023. That sounds good.
It sounds,
But it can be better though, yeah.
Let's
It was like
try-
a 3, right?
Let's try one more time. Let's see. Hand on your chest, the other on your core. Every single person in this room. It's thriving for me in 2023.
It's
Thriving for me in 2023.
They say a third time is a charm. I want you to put your chest in it. Y'all know how we do. It's thriving for me in 2023.
It's
Thriving for me in 2023.
I love God. God loved me.
That's right.
And as a result, every day I strive to be that person who an experience with me is an encounter with God.
Yes.
I'm wise. I'm authentic. I'm a story listener and a storyteller. I'm a truth seeker. And I am a person who is on a journey to be well, whole, and free. And through that process, I have discovered that I am enough.
I mean, wow. I really appreciate you leading us through that affirmation. It is still early morning or late morning, if you will. And I want to talk to you ladies about your morning routines. How we get ourselves started at the top of our day is so important. The way we think about ourselves, the way we prepare ourselves in the morning. Y'all look so good. I know you spent some extra time this morning, but maybe it was effortless. But that is so important, right? And it's an inside job. Latoya, what is part of your morning routine that you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. So my morning routine actually starts with the night before. So how I go to bed often impacts how I wake up in the morning. And so it's about meditating, getting myself in the right mindset, the right spirit before I actually put myself to sleep and rest. In the morning, I like to start off first and foremost with gratitude. Thank you, God, that I am alive. Thank you for the breath in my lungs. Thank you, God, for blessings, for shelter, for food. I go through a whole list of just rattling off gratitude. I like to start off my day in that space of welcoming this opportunity for another day of life, because it is precious. We've all lived through this pandemic and realized that life is short and not guaranteed to any one of us. And so I like to start off the day by just saying thank you. The next is I start to think about what I'm going to have or what am I going to do throughout the day, and asking God to just order my steps, order my tongue, open the doors, give me the privilege or the right type of people that I need to interact with during that day to really just help me to thrive and to be successful. So I realized that I can do nothing on my own. I live in the strength of the people that are around me and the blessings of God, and so I like to just start off my day with the gratitude and asking for the blessing to help that day be successful.
I love that gratitude. Yes.
So it's two things that I do in the morning. The first thing I do is I cannot start my day without the Bible app. And so I know, old school, if you still take out your Bible and read, I applaud you. But that Bible app right there at my nightstand is just a godsend. And depending on where I am and, depending on what's going on with work or in my personal life, I'm on a plan. And that plan will have a daily prayer that guides me. And one of my most favorite prayers is a prayer for dealing with uncertainty. And that is something that I try to start my day with. I truly believe in God, and everything, every gift, blessing that I have been given, it's my responsibility to take that time to give it back. And so the second thing I do is I meditate. When I first started at Amazon, I've been at Amazon 2.5 years. And one piece of advice that someone gave me was, Amazon will take what you give it. And so I had to be very clear on establishing guardrails for my time. So between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. every day, that's my mental health and wellness time. So I would say that for you all, if you don't have those blocks in your calendar for you to have what some people call white space, but you call it whatever space you need, but it's that space where you have the opportunity to center yourself. And, my daughter, she can tell you, she'll walk in the room and she'll hear the phrase, Happy New Day. It's something about that phrase at the end of my meditation, Happy New Day. It makes me a better person. It makes me a better leader. I am able to get up and feel refreshed because I've called on the higher power to lift me, to carry me forward. And I've actually done this, sort of unspoken test for myself with my team, because I have teams all over the world, and seeing how do I show up if I don't pray or meditate versus when I meditate and pray, because, there's all types of things going on in the world, and people are actually living and dealing with things. So as I talk to a team member whose loved one just passed away, or I'm talking to a team member who is struggling with burnout and ready to take a leave, or having to speak with a colleague who maybe contemplated suicide at some point, how do I preserve myself so that I am not taking all of that in? Because if you are an empath, we all know, we can take that in and you carry it, and then we give it to those around us that we love. And so I establish the guardrails and make sure that this time for me in the morning, 8 to 10 a.m., is for me. It's not for anyone else. It's not for my family. It's just for me.
It's beautiful.
It is. Yeah. So I think what's interesting about what's been said and what I'm getting ready to say, which will highlight these specific themes, is that part of how we start our day is, for one, recognizing the importance of prioritizing the need to have a moment for yourself, right? Like prioritizing that time and that space, and prioritizing you in that space,
Yes.
right? And then I think also preparing for is the other thing that I heard as a theme, that there's a preparation for how you start your day. So like my day starts similarly, and it typically starts the night before by, for me, making sure that I'm going my butt to bed.
Yeah.
because we play with sleep like sleep is disposable. But you need sleep. Is there anyone in here who doesn't have a computer? Just raise your hand because I want to make sure. Maybe your computer have a sleep function. That when you enable it, it allows the computer to turn off temporarily, and when you restore the sleep function, you're able to resume where you were. Our bodies work the same way. So I go to bed at a time that allows me to get the sleep that I need so that when I wake up early, so my day starts pretty early. I woke up, I've been up since 3 o'clock.
I heard the ooh.
Yeah.
And it starts with prayer. It starts with me reading my Bible. I'm old school, so I'm thumbing through. I'm proud to say I'm almost finished reading the entire Bible for the second time. I journal, I take notes, so there's Bible reading, devotion study, and then I also actually journal. So I give myself time to kind of reflect on my thoughts, where I was the day before, where my intentions are set for the day. And it's coffee too. It's just a little bit of coffee in there.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, I stay caffeinated. I had a red eye this morning. I just learned the term, so now I'm telling everybody. Add a shot of espresso. It's really not that fancy. I don't drink alcohol either, so I always say on the rocks like I'm doing something. Yes, it's my thing. Try it. It's fun. Okay, so I love that you all are preparing for how you show up. One of my mantras, and I've printed it everywhere, is how you live your life is your business. We love to show up to spaces and thrive. We'll get all of the accolades and matriculate to the highest levels of education, but sometimes we aren't showing up for ourselves in that very same way. So Maduka, you got your eye on me, and I love it. It's intense. How does the time that you spend pouring into yourself influence how you show up in the workforce and transform those who report to you?
So this is where we're gonna have some real talk for a minute, y'all. And I love to tell things through real lived experiences. 2 years ago, I hit what I would probably call a very, very tough space professionally. And, if we just go a little bit further back for when the pandemic hit, I traveled all over the world. I, encountered some strange experiences internationally, but they didn't bother me the way the pandemic actually impacted me. I was so surprised that when we had to pause and I could no longer travel, but I was at home, and then we had to do all those virtual happy hours. Oh my God, I was worn and wiped out from the virtual happy hours. Did you all feel that?
Absolutely.
Like, I was so sick and tired. When you talk about not being sick and tired anymore. And I remember being on the phone one day with a friend, but she was also an executive coach, and I just fell apart. I broke down crying, and I said, I don't want to go to another happy hour. I just don't want to do it. And she said, and it's okay. Why do you feel the need to go to everyone that your team holds? Because I felt this need to be liked as a new leader to the company. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be, seen as this great new transformational leader, immediately joining the company. And it was falling short, because I think I was so over it that whereas I thought I was showing up in a way that, okay, I'm here, and maybe it was going to land like, yes, I'm here, we're all one team. And I think they could see right through it. And so what I realized in that moment was I had to start to honor me in a way, and my no did not have no if, or I can do it, but. There was no longer a but added, right? I was like unwavering about what I was not going to sacrifice on my personal time, because we know when things start to get a little fuzzy and crazy looking at times, this is where I'm gonna really tell y'all some hard truth. I was like, I gotta cut my hair off. This is gonna help me navigate the day better. I'm gonna be able to wash my hair and move quicker, and so I can get on my meetings, work out. I'm gonna do all the things. But I told myself I needed to cut my hair to do it. Now, we know
Yes, we do.
we don't mess with our hair for no reason. That's usually the first sign that something's wrong. And then I found out that short hair is actually more of a maintenance than long hair. And I'm like, why didn't I research this first? Because the joke and the gag was on me, because now I had to spend more time. So I created more chaos for myself. And so that really forced me to take a hard step back and say, you know what, Madupe, like, who are you? Who are you? What makes you happy? And then I just started to lean all the way into those things that makes me happy. And a part of what also happened during coming out of that pandemic was some of the nuggets and the wisdom that the people around me started to pour into me. Because I was still worried about being accepted and liked by my team. And one leader said to me, she said, you know what? It's not necessarily about whether or not they like you. You might not be their preference.
Well,
And I said, ooh, that shifted my position in the most amazing way, because I just might not be your preference. You might not like what I have to say. You might not like what I say, what I feel, or how I'm actually going to lead this team. But it's okay, it's your preference. It's not about me. And once I sort of took that into my psyche, that it wasn't always about me being liked or me overthinking certain things, that's how I started to impact showing up as a better, more authentic and genuine leader, because I focused on leading, but leading through my own authenticity.
well, look, I mean, if I could leave the stage right now and be done because y'all are already dropping so many gems, I would. Oh, my goodness. Preference. Sometimes we get caught up. We get really tied to that, right? But I also appreciate the segue to authenticity. I'm coming to you, Latoya. I saw you glance over. Authenticity is so important. You show up in so many spaces. You are a globe trotter. I have the list of countries and I'm like, wow, how do you do it? How do you make sure that you're managing your energy as you show up and as you help others solve such complex challenges organizationally in their business?
Yeah. So for me, it's finding out what drives me and what gives me personal energy. We get this human experience once. And so I try to strive to make sure that whatever I'm doing is feeding me. If I'm going to give my life energy to someone else or to a business, I want to make sure that I'm also being fed in that process. And so whenever I'm, finding a project that I want to work on, I find a personal connection for myself. As I said, I'm a humanitarian. I love to see other people thrive. And so I look for projects where I get to work with somebody one-on-one to coach them through something that they're struggling with to help them be a more successful leader. I like to work with organizations that have larger humanitarian missions or goals where I know that they're having an impact on the world or the broader community that they're in. And knowing that I'm impacting these individuals or these communities through these organizations gives me energy and feeds me and helps me to continue to push on. I try to limit those spaces or those opportunities or jobs, projects that take energy from me. And if you're going to be successful, you're going to come across those things that you have to do that don't give you energy. But it's about figuring out what is a learning nugget that you can take from it, or how do I use this to build my platform, to build my career, or I'm only going to do this for a short period of time. So while it's taking energy from me, I'm giving you 2 seconds. You're not going to take more than that.
Okay, I'm gonna stick there real quick. I'm gonna lean in too, because it's so important for us to be able to check in with ourselves and identify what serves us and what does not serve us. How have you been able to really listen to your intuition, but also lean into your expertise when determining what you will allow to take your time and what you will walk away from?
Yeah. That's trial and error.
Good question.
You know, I'm a growing human being. I'm under construction, and so sometimes I will try something. I'm also very open, inquisitive. I have a very learning nature, and so I'll try something, and you know, sometimes it'll fail, and I'll say, okay, I'm not going to do that again. But I learned something through that process. I also, when I do find something that I love, I lean more into it. I think there's also opportunity for you to just self-reflect. Think about what are the things that drive you. Again, figuring out what motivates you, what wakes you up in the morning, what gives you that energy. And that's just sitting down with yourself and having that reflective time to think about it. You need silence sometimes to find your space and to find yourself. It's the chaos and the noise and all of the stimulation coming at you can really take away from your opportunity to discover yourself and discover your own strength, right? So just having those moments, like even in the morning, as you guys talked about, that quiet time to meditate, to journal, it helps me to figure out what I want. I've also lived through some, you know, major life experiences, having battled with cancer. Those type of things will help you take a new perspective on life.
Yes.
It'll help you to figure out what really matters to me, what is the legacy that I want to leave on this earth, right? We're not going to be here forever. And I believe that we're the hands of God in the earth. We're not here just to take up space and to eat and consume resources, but we're actually here to impact the lives of other people. So how does, you know, what I'm doing feed into the legacy that I want to leave here on this earth? When I pass away, is somebody going to say, Latoya did this or changed my life or had this impact on me? Or are they going to say, yeah, I liked her shoes, or she had this nice car, or, you know, the material things that I think are on the peripheral of what this human experience is supposed to really be about?
Can we stay there? I love
Absolutely.
because what it also made me think about is when you were talking about those things that actually like almost like empower you and make you feel good. But how do you navigate when it's the work you have to do that you don't want to do?
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I actually would love to hear how you all get through that, because I think that's the work that really pushes us to burnout. That work that we're like, oh my God, this assignment again, this work, this trip, right? This experience, this whatever. Not excited about it, but I still have to do it.
Oh my
Yeah. Like, how do we get through that?
You know, I think it's interesting. It's making me think of this framework that I use in terms of how to manifest certain things. Because as a retired therapist now, for me, I'm always interested in why we do what we do. What are the beliefs and values that reflect why you're moving in a certain direction? So for me, it's like 4 M's. So the first M is mindset. Mindset is about beliefs and values. What do you believe? And why do you believe that? Right? What are you rooted in terms of your value system? Because when the winds and the whims blow, you need to have something that will allow you to blow but not break. The second M is motivation. What is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Because if you get to a place where you're working in a space or you're in a relationship, whether it's a professional relationship or personal or otherwise, you've got to be clear about your motivation for being in said relationship. And if you're in a relationship that is hurtful more so than it is helpful, you've got to be curious about that. What is that about? The third M is movement. It is your behavior. So if you have a mindset, for example, I have a mindset about protecting my peace. That is a belief system. Why? Motivation. Because when I protect my peace, I show up, first of all, I'm taking care of this one car that I have been given to navigate life. And most of us treat our bodies like we have a fleet of cars.
Okay.
You ain't got no fleet of cars? I'm sorry, the New Orleans came out. You got one car, but we treat it like we have a bunch, right? And so because I'm clear about what peace does for this car and how it helps me to have a very acute navigational system, then my movement ensures that. That's why I'm waking up at 4 o'clock to pray and to read that's why I'm in the gym at 6. That's why I'm blocking negativity, because my behaviors have to align with what it is I say I believe.
Say that.
And then the fourth thing is you manifest. Because you don't get to manifest, they're aligned. You should be able to look at what you're manifesting and go all the way back to mindset. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
So if you are in a space where you don't want to be, and let's be clear, sometimes you have to make work, right? But you've also got to have an end for yourself, because sometimes working might mean I am in this position, although I don't particularly like it, because it gives me some type of opportunity, it gives me stability for my family, it gives me something that temporarily I can manage through this, right? I have been in spaces where I had to make work, especially as a single mom. So I think having a framework, 4 M's, mindset. What was the second one? See if I got some note takers.
Motivation.
Y'all are good note takers.
Movement.
What's the third one?
Movement.
What's the fourth one?
Manifest.
Here's the bonus. You gotta be able to maintain it. Because anything that's worth achieving must be maintained. And because you have a mindset of, for example, in my case, I say protecting my peace, part of my maintenance in that instance means I'm setting boundaries with folks, and sometimes I'm resetting them. Because boundaries aren't just one and done.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I have to reset to let whoever the individual is know that, no, this is something that's important to me, and I know you may not think so. But it is. 2 things I want to say, and I'm going to shut up, because this is what happens when you let therapists talk. We're so busy listening. We're like, I got a lot to say. Plenty. Boundaries are for you. Most people who don't like when you set boundaries don't like when you set boundaries because they benefit from you not having them.
That part.
That part.
I'm going to say it for my ladies and my men in the back. My they, them, she, and they. We all, right? Most people do not like boundaries because they benefit when you don't have them. So if you're looking for someone who benefits from your flexibility to show up for you and respect your boundary, they are not. Here's the other thing I want to say. I don't know why it's coming to me to say this. Everything has a season. Let's be clear. For Black women, it's our time, no doubt. It is our season. It is our time. You know what else has seasons? Somebody say what? Relationships.
Absolutely.
If they can't grow with you, if they're not interested in your growth, if they are subtractive from your growth, they can't go with you. And here's the deal. It's not personal, it's seasonal.
Well,
That's it.
I know that's right.
I mean, that was good.
Y'all,
Like, I'm taking notes in my head. That was good.
okay, we're about to get the Grammys music, and I cannot believe it.
Yes.
They about to turn the
Why you
BE
didn't play
music
the
on.
Lydia? Y'all would have stopped.
No.
Do we
This-
still have 5 minutes? I see 5 minutes.
I see 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, 5 minutes.
Oh, good.
Oh, I cannot believe it. You have poured out so much, though, and I know that you all will follow us out the room. So before there is a microphone floating, I'd love to lean into Alfred Edmonds' rule of thumb for this time, and for you to not ask a clancer. So that's a question with an answer in it. Just a question with a question. And so if you can make your way to the microphone, introduce yourself, and
A
ask your
clancer.
question
Love that.
with the proper punctuation mark at the end, That would be incredible. All right, make your way before I start asking questions, because I could keep going.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you all for sharing your stories. My question is, I heard some mentions of kids up there, right, and families, and I think that that's something that we don't necessarily talk about enough. How do you find, I know it's not any balance, so I don't even know how to position this, but how do you find the power, the energy, the drive to be an effective present parent and also be an effective present leader?
That's you,
Okay.
with Layla in the front.
So my 9-year-old is right here in the room. Her name is Layla. and and I'll be honest with you, I'm so thankful that she is able to be here with me, because you all know, as a mom, a traveling mom, being in a position where you are constantly, whether sought after, called on, or pulled in different directions, it's intense. And so that's late night meetings and early morning starts, or carpool, and you're constantly taking calls when you're supposed to be present. What I did, to be honest with you, I had to start to reset some different standards for myself of what being an effective mother is. And sometimes we subscribe to this notion of what society has made us believe that an effective mom is. And so for me, it's, having deep conversations with her about why I do what I do. And so, she jokes with me and will mock me all the time. I'm a Dupe Congleton. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm a diversity, equity, and inclusion leader. But she also has already understood the importance of allyship and fighting for people from underrepresented and marginalized communities, because that's what her mommy does. And so for me, that's part of me being an effective mom. What I also am, if I can't do all things, if I can hire somebody to help me do it, I accepted that as a standard too, right? This notion of supermom, superwoman, I got to clean the house, I got to cook all the meals, I got to do this and be a successful leader. I think it was a McKinsey study that just came out that said that as men continue to ascend, their responsibilities as parents and caregivers, they can reduce. But for women, it doesn't. Right. So we layer on. And the way I layer on is I'm honest with myself about where I have deficiencies. As I said, I hire. And then, if I am constantly traveling, then I try to identify where can I bring Layla on the journey with me. I have 4 daughters, by the way. I have a 30-year-old, a 27, a 26, and a 9-year-old.
But you look 30.
Girl, thank you.
Okay. Black don't crack when you take care of it.
And it's because of those things that my older children, they had each other. Mommy was on grind mode. I was I was a single mom starting out in my career. So as Lisa Nichols said, I was a late bloomer. And by the time I hit that hard ascend in my career, Layla came along. And so it also forced me to be a present. I'm not surviving anymore, but I am literally thriving. And she gets to be a part of that thrive. So. And the last nugget I'll say on the leadership part is I recognize that truth and honesty that I have to model certain things in front of my team. So I have to let them know that, I'm sorry, y'all, I got to pick Layla up from carpool. Hey, team, I'm sorry, Layla's got dance class today. Or, you know what, Layla hasn't eaten yet. I'm so sorry, I got to go. It gives them the space to do the same thing, and I have to honor and respect their families as well.
As a young professional, I'm senior corporate counsel for a large financial company, and I know when I was coming out of law school, I wanted a family, and I thought about it and prayed about it, and it happened, but I ended up going back to work maybe a week after I gave birth, and I did it twice. And my children are 3 and 6, and I just want to know some tidbits, some pearls, some things that you could drop on this group of women
who are trying to figure out, when do I make that decision? How do I prepare my team? How do I prepare my bosses for this so that I can still come back and not feel like I have either missed an opportunity or that someone's going to penalize me for this gift that I've been given, this decision that I had to make for me and my family. I just think that being around all these women, I know that you guys got some stuff for us.
Yes. Who wants to start?
I mean, I think, well, did you want to speak? Yeah, no. Okay. I think, thank you, first of all, thank you both for the questions. I think for me, it's always important to be transparent about what your concerns and needs are. I think oftentimes, particularly as Black women, motherhood can be a very touchy and sketchy space for us in the workplace because of stereotypes, because of how when we talk about our children and our needs, there's some assumptions that, we're not concerned about productivity. There's always sort of these myths and lies essentially about who we are as employees. But I think what I have found in the workplace as a mother, I can remember with my last son, so I have is his, hers, and our, his, mine, and ours. With my youngest son, I was a nursing mom. He had a lot of some medical issues and such. And so what was helpful for me is to be very transparent and clear about what my concerns were, what my intentions were, what my desires were, but also very intentional about being clear how was the employer going to support me in the return and what it was that I was trying to accomplish. Because oftentimes what happens is we bear the onus and the responsibility on our success, but your employers also bear responsibility to support you, to develop you, and make sure that you, in this case, return back I would say return back with the level of support so you can be successful. So communicate and be transparent about, again, what your concerns are, but also what your desires and your goals are. And then be sure to also ask the employer what it is and how it is that will support you in that transition back. I hope that answers the question.
Good afternoon. Just an honor to be here with all of you. For a long time, I was what people would call a worker bee, and now I am in management. Never had any kids, don't have a husband, so it's always been about work for me. But I overpour. And so I want to know what is a good way to make sure you're pouring into those that you work with, because I was never poured into when I was a worker bee. And so now I want to make sure not only am I being a good leader, but I want to make sure that I am staying cognizant of where people need to be poured into. So what are good ways to pour into your staff without overpouring and taking away from your cup?
First, you got to pour into yourself, because you can't bring people where you haven't gone.
Please end now. I'm sorry. That is so funny.
My lovely, you weren't supposed to say that out loud.
I'm sorry. It's so funny,
I
though.
want you to answer the question and then just be mindful. The other ladies are waiting for you in the foyer, but no worries. These fabulous professionals are going to continue answering your questions in the hallway, okay? So please answer the question.
Thank you.
Before wrapping. Answer her question, please.
I did. You can't pour into somebody that you have to do for yourself, be able to model. First of all, you got to be able to do it for yourself. You can't take somebody where you haven't gone.
I would just add to that, to tap into those folks that you're leading. Ask them, have those one-on-ones with them, find out what they want, how you can support them. And then also look for other role models who are leaders that you want to emulate. I think that hurt people. And so if you can find good models and good role leaders that helped you or that you see are good people that you'd want to kind of steal some nuggets from them, take that and use that as examples to lead your own teams.
My goodness, did you get a lot or did you get a lot? This is incredible. Thank you so much for pouring the way that you have, for showing up, for doing the work, for caring, and for being light. For that, I'm grateful, and I know we all receive so much. You can follow us into the foyer area where our panelists would be happy to speak with you and answer your questions. If not, be sure to connect with them on the BE app
And on
and
LinkedIn.
enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take our picture.
That was so good. I love the 4 inches.